Good time zone, Gen Friends, and welcome to CrossGen Friends, your gaming, pop culture, and tech podcast with a multi-generation point of view. I'm Byron Miller, and with me, as always, is Joe LaRussa. How are you today, Joe?
I am doing okay, Byron. How about yourself?
I am doing just fine.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear it. It's weekend after Christmas here. So, of course, that means I only have one question for you. What's your happy place this week?
I mean, I think that it would be a crime if I said anything other than Christmas, right? Whether you celebrate it or not, I mean, Christmas is kind of for everybody. You don't have to be religious to enjoy it, but we always get together with friends and family and we do our holidays together. I think I talked about it at Thanksgiving. We did the same with Christmas. We had friends and my parents came over. We had a ham, which is a traditional Christmas dinner, um, wine, beer, alcohol, traded presents, enjoyed each other. My mom makes pot de creme every year, which is like a thick chocolate mousse that is always really good. I think I usually get like 2 to 3 servings out of it before it's way too much for me, and then I just don't want to eat anymore, and then it sits in the fridge, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, so I had a good Christmas. You'll hear, or you already heard, at that point, my son, who is a music minor in college, wrote a new show intro that I'll be putting at the beginning of the show. And my wife got me this sweet Winnie the Pooh shirt. You can see Christopher Robin here, and I think there's Kanga and Rabbit and Pooh Bear and Piglet. So it's all over the place. There's Eeyore on my left. Good stuff. I had a nice Christmas. No complaints from me. How about you, Joe? Where's your happy
Uh,
place?
I first want to say I didn't realize that that was a Winnie the Pooh shirt when you pointed out your shirt at first. Just because from a
Yeah.
distance, it's just kind of far away and it's small, so I didn't know that. I actually really love Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh is probably my favorite thing that Disney owns right now. And then like Stitch is number two in terms of Disney stuff. When it comes to Disney, obviously like Pixar, side stuff like Toy Story is its own thing for me. But I adore Winnie the Pooh. He has always been like my favorite thing. So that's a really
So
cool shirt.
before we continue on, this was my home screen, and now it's just a picture because I've kind of swapped around a little bit. But I also love Winnie the Pooh. I had a Winnie the Pooh stuffed animal when I was born, but that is me and Winnie
Aw,
the Pooh at Disney, and it'll return as my home
aw.
screen at some point in time in the near future, I'm sure. But all right, so what's your happy place, Joe?
Yeah, my happy place is also Christmas this year and our now annual Christmas Eve party. So a few years ago, I would say, I guess it was 2 years ago, this is our third one. My parents decided to host a Christmas Eve party because my then girlfriend, now fiance, was not able to spend Christmas with us that year. And it was our first we were dating at Christmas the previous year, but it was like a month old. Like we just started dating or something. Like less than we hadn't even become like a boyfriend girlfriend situation yet. So we decided 2 years ago that because she was working on Christmas and wasn't going to be able to be around, but she was going to come around the Christmas season and was I think she was leaving Christmas Eve. She was flying out that day. We hosted a Christmas Eve party where we were able to invite my mom's best friend since childhood and her whole family, who are like family to us, aunt and uncle, that sort of thing, over and bring them into the home so that Jing could spend some time and get to meet everybody because she wasn't going to be around for the actual holiday itself. And we've kind of just kept that tradition going. So last year we also had the Christmas Eve party, and this year we had it too. And it's expanded. We've started inviting like more people, more friends. So it's grown beyond its original purpose, but it's always really fun because we traditionally go over to my mom's best friend's home for things because she has a beautiful home and she loves to host. And this is the one excuse that we get to bring all of them over to us, which is really cool. So Christmas itself was fun. I got a nice new leather jacket to replace my faux leather jacket that I had. Um, I bought this faux leather jacket in 2018 on a trip to Boston when I forgot to bring a jacket. And by forgot, I mean, didn't think I would need one, but I did because Boston is cold in October.
Who would have
And
known?
yeah, and the jacket itself is still pretty okay, except the part behind the hood, because it's a hooded jacket, is coming off. The faux leather is starting to peel like badly. So it's no longer really going to function as a jacket because it doesn't have the waterproof part anymore. So my dad, when he saw that, decided he wanted to get me a new jacket to replace it. So he got me an actual leather jacket, which I really appreciate. It's a very, very nice gift. And I got, a bunch of other things as well. But it was a good Christmas. Very, very happy to see my family and spend time with everyone. Speaking of Winnie the Pooh, though, so as I said, I do love Pooh, and the over the summer or just before summer, sometime in Memorial Day weekend, my fiance and I were off at a weekend getaway, and we went to this Irish festival, and they had these little, keychains and this and that, like just random little things. And for whatever reason, this place happened to sell like a Winnie the Pooh keychain and a bunch of other keychain things, like a little stuffy, like a stuffed animal, like that big, not particularly large. But I liked it, and so she bought it for me, and I bought her something else that was similar. And I've been keeping that on my backpack for a bunch of my travel. And then on one of my trips in the last few months, the little ribbon that was attached to Pooh's head got popped. It broke off because Pooh himself got stuck between like my leg and a door in the car, or whatever, and it
Aw.
just so he was the bear itself was fine, but
Okay, his head didn't pop off or anything.
no,
Good.
it was just the ribbon. The ribbon is the only thing that popped off. And I was like, oh man, like what am I gonna do? And so on this trip home, I brought it and I kept it in like the little drink holder that backpacks have, I kept him in that little drink holder. And my mom took some fishing line and was actually able to like just sew a new loop into him and then like close the ribbon, but we couldn't really use the ribbon because it was all frayed and whatnot. So he actually I have a picture of what he looks like because I did take a picture of it. So this is him having been fixed here for our viewers. um, and he looks good now. He's nice and safe. He's back
So
on the backpack.
as of a couple years ago, Pooh is now public, right?
Yes, I
The
know.
copyright has expired. Have you watched the Winnie the Pooh movie? I think it's
No,
called
that
Blood and
horror
Honey.
one. No, and they're
Yeah,
making a sequel of it too, I think.
I think that I want to at some point in time, but it's supposed to be really bad. And
I don't really do
more,
horror things, even for Pooh.
more and more of our childhood memories are going into public use. I think I heard that Popeye now is, and there's a variety of off Popeye movies, and one of them
I
is a
believe it.
horror movie. And yeah, so I think the Steamboat Willie Mickey Mouse is, but not the current Mickey Mouse because of how those things work. You can
Yep.
have
Yep.
different versions that, yeah. So more and more of that stuff is going to fall into the public
Do you know why uh Mickey Mouse was in copyright? The Steamboat Willie version was in copyright for so long? Do you
because they
know?
kept changing the laws because Disney wanted them to.
Right, but do you know who the last person to push for this law change was?
Michael Eisner, let's
N-
guess.
No, no, I mean in Congress, the last Congress person to really be pushing for
Oh,
this.
Strom Thurmond.
No, Sonny Bono.
The former congressperson and former Sonny and Cher and mayor of
Palm
Palm
Springs.
Springs.
Yep.
Yeah, he George of the Jungled himself, unfortunately.
Yes. So the name, the official name of the extension that extended the Mickey Mouse copyright and all those copyrights as long as it did is officially known as the Sonny Bono Copyright Extension Act. It is named after him because he was pushing for it before he passed.
That is a cool factoid.
It is a cool factoid. I think so. One of my favorite episodes of The Golden Girls is the one with Sonny Bono in it, where he is him and Michael Wagoner are fighting for Dorothy.
So I'm old enough that I watched the Golden Girls when it was on TV, but I am not young enough to enjoy the Golden Girls like millennials do for whatever reason.
I have watched it for most of my life. It's one of my favorite shows. Actually, for 4 Christmases in a row, speaking of Christmases, one of the gifts my mom got me were Golden Girls Hallmark ornaments. So I have one of each of the girls in a Hallmark ornament form.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't get the
I
Golden Girls love. It's fine.
I love that show. And I didn't is it a millennial thing to like the Golden Girls? I had
Oh,
no idea.
millennials love the Golden Girls and they
Really?
love the American
Okay.
Office.
I mean, yeah, but those are 25 years apart.
I don't make the rules.
I also love the American Office. I was a latecomer to that. It was over before I'd watched it. Um,
I like the American Office. I love the British Office though. It's
I've only
a
seen a little of the
superior
British
show.
Office. I never
It
got a
is
chance.
it is out somewhere. I don't know
Yeah.
all the copies of the British Office. It's good stuff.
I I'm a fan of Ricky Gervais though. I actually had tickets to see Ricky Gervais live in stand up when he was coming to New York pre-COVID, and then COVID happened and he canceled his tour, and I don't think he's been back since, unfortunately. Uh, so I
The
never
same
got to
Ricky
see it.
Gervais who will never do the Academy Awards again, I'm betting.
Yeah, well, I mean he's the one behind The Office, so that's why I brought him up.
Yeah, no, yeah, but you saw that he did the Academy Awards years ago, and it was
Hmm.
brutal. Like he did not pull any punches from anybody, and I think
That's
that
why it
he
was
cut a
funny.
little too close. Yeah,
Yeah, I respect Ricky Gervais. I think he's very funny. He is one of the comedians that really does just say whatever and
hmm
tells the jokes. And usually they don't always land, but even if they don't land, he doesn't it doesn't bother him, you know. And I think
yeah. Most of
that's
his jokes are not
quality.
appropriate for this podcast, but I love thinking about them outside of the podcast and talking about them with a different audience.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that was my Christmas. It was really nice. I'm always happy to see my family. And then we are recording a day early again because tomorrow I zoosh, fly off back to the frozen wasteland.
Is where you live going to be hit by the snowstorm that's coming? I guess it always has snowstorms, but there's supposed to be something nasty coming up to the New York area.
I'm not there. I haven't really been paying attention to it. I know that there's supposed to be snow when I get there around like I think it's snowing the day after. I think it's snowing all the days before, not snowing the day I fly, and then snowing all the days after is what it showed in the weather.
I guess in the greater Buffalo area, they know how to handle snow, so
Yeah, they do. I mean, that's fine. I just have
what
to
a
get
miserable
going.
place to be.
Don't remind me. No, last year was rough to get out of Virginia. There were flight delays out the wazoo, and I'm flying the same flight this year, so I'm hoping it's not as bad as it was last year. We actually missed our connecting flight in JFK last year and had to fly into Syracuse, and then we took a $200 Uber from Syracuse home.
Wow. So one of our former coworkers, I won't get into more details on that, is up in Quebec now skiing, and my college roommate is in the northern part of the lower peninsula of Michigan doing a ski holiday. Both of those do
Wow.
those trips every year, and I'm glad they have fun. But I don't get cold weather outdoors people. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, yeah,
I actually like skiing. Skiing is really fun. I am not the best at it, but it's fun to do when you find the time and the location. I tried snowboarding one time. I was terrible at that. I literally spent all day getting down the mountain once because I did not have the core strength to get myself up to go down the mountain. Literally the whole day I went one time down the mountain. I just kept laying there until I could regain my energy, and then I got up and I'd go another like 25 feet, and then I would be stuck there again. It was
if I never
awful.
saw snow again, it would be okay with me.
It'd be too soon.
Yep. All right. Well, on to the news. Joe, you're up.
Yes, thank you, Byron. Our first piece of news today is EA shareholders have greenlit the $55 billion takeover from Saudi Arabia. I have this written in the news article in my write up. I didn't read it because I was looking at the wrong thing, but I wrote it as EA shareholders have approved the takeover of the company by everybody's favorite human rights icon, the Saudis. Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, so VGC has the story here. Electronic Arts' proposed sale to Saudi Arabia's public investment fund has been approved by the company's shareholders. The $55 billion deal was approved in a shareholder vote on Monday. The takeover will now require approval from government regulators to be finalized. So we don't have too much else that we need to say on that point other than, this is expected. Shareholders don't actually have any interest in anything related to the companies that they control the shares of other than making money. So I think this is to them an opportunity to make money.
Yeah. I guess they have to look at the long range outlook for the company because I mean it might backfire on them. Not everybody continues to be customers whenever the ownership changes, and I know there are people who have some strong feelings about Saudi Arabia. They're working hard to get themselves ingrained in the entertainment zeitgeist. They've got festivals there. They recently had a comedy festival, and a lot of the comedians were derided for their participation in it. There's WWE does shows there every year. I think it's called Kingdom Jewels, and I believe they're going to be doing a WrestleMania in Riyadh. So Yeah, Saudi Arabia is working hard. They get the Live golf tournament, which may or
Yeah,
may not have merged with the PGA again. I don't remember. I don't
yeah,
follow
I think it
golf that
did.
much.
Yeah, so just so just so we everyone understands, if the shareholders' approval of this, they don't have any say or stake or care about what happens in the future because they're not they are but their shares are gone. Once the deal is approved, they're getting cash and their shares are no longer shares. Like this
Oh, they're
is
non-transferable.
I mean this
They
is
don't
a
keep their shares in
purchase.
the new company.
No, they
Okay, so
don't
it's
because
just a
they're
share
getting
purchase.
right. Right. The shares are being bought. That's what the $55 billion is. They are but it is it is being
Going
taken
private.
private,
Gotcha.
owned by the three funds, mostly the Saudi fund there. So yeah, so these shareholders, they don't care. They'll make their money and then they'll run away, and that's it. That's all it'll be. And this will be great for the people who bought it low, and good for the people who bought it high because they're paying a premium over the share price as it was listed. And that's pretty much it. They're out. They're gone. So for them, they don't care about the long-term future of the developer anymore, of the publisher rather, which is that's just how it works, I guess. But I just there's so much more money to be made in the long term of holding a company, because they have games. Battlefield 6 did wonderfully. It's like sold so well and the shares could keep going, and they're just like, nope, we're good. We're gonna get out now and peace peace it over to the Saudis. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'd like to believe there may be a movement. I guess in the past 15 years or so, there's been a movement of smaller developers being eaten up by large publishers. And maybe we're going to be seeing a correction of that. And some of these gigantic studios or gigantic producing companies split up into the smaller developers again. You
I
get
think it,
more artistic freedom whenever you're not ruled by a publisher.
yeah, that I think that's possible, but I really think what we're going to see is a more traditional cycle of publishers get publishers purchase up the small studios and then make them a part of their big organization, and then new small studios rise up. That's how it normally works. Is that in little these little companies give it their best and they have a hit game, and then they do really well, and then they get bigger and bigger. I mean, most of the publishers that we know now started out as their own small little developers in some way, shape, or form, and then they grew to the mammoths that they are. And then you have things like Inner Sloth, the people behind the Among Us game, and now they made their publisher Outer Sloth, where they're helping fund indie games. And you have your um, Larians, which are much bigger now because they had their Baldur's Gate 3. CD Projekt Red has grown, IOI has grown. So all of these studios that were just single developers had popular games, and they grew and grew and grew. And I think that that's just a cycle. I think that's where we're going to go again.
Yeah, it feels like some of the ones who have stayed more independent and haven't become large public corps like an Electronic Arts, like an Ubisoft, have maintained more creativity than some of the bigger ones who are just expected to put out a new variation on the same game every year, whether it's Madden or Assassin's Creed or Battlefield or
Yeah,
whatever.
that's to be expected though, because the private companies have different expectations, different requirements, fewer people to answer to. That's just how it is when you're
Well,
not solely focused on increasing the profits of the company.
yeah,
You
when you're a
can.
public corp or you're owned by private equity, the rule is number goes up, and that's the only thing that matters.
That's right. The difference between the two, and this is why as much as I don't want it to go to the Saudis, the reason why I'm a little bit happy that EA is going private in this case is because private equity is so focused on line going up that they sell things that they don't use. They will get rid of things and cut things and chop things, but they don't generally just close things. They want to make some money on their purchase, on their assets. Whereas EA is more than happy to just hoard everything forever because that's an appearance factor. Is like we have to own these things because what if we want to use them at some point in time and we can't let other people? Private equity is their general thought process is this is sitting here and it's not making money. Okay, we'll sell it and make some money on it. So I'm hoping that some studios and some IP, obviously my thought always goes to BioWare and to and to the Dragon Age team and the Dragon Age franchise and Mass Effect 2, but primarily Dragon Age for me, that hopefully someday they'll be like, oh, this Dragon Age thing, this could be worth some money. Maybe someone wants to buy it from us, and then they get rid of it. That would be my dream. That would be like the dream scenario for me out of this whole thing.
But I think Saudi Arabia's got different goals than just making money off of the purchase.
I don't know. I mean, so far they haven't in all the things they've invested in. They've just been making money off of their investments, but this is the biggest one. I don't know if it's bigger than their Live Golf PGA thing, but it's definitely the biggest of anything else recently. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that's about it on this story here.
Yep.
Anything else from you, Byron, on it?
No, just keep your eyes open to the news and any kind of things relating to the story.
Absolutely. So, Byron, over to you for our next headline.
Yeah, X33 developer Sandfall, another developer who came from a larger studio, has vowed to make all games AI free in the future. In the last week, they were stripped of their Indie Game of the Year award, which was instead given to Blueprints, another fantastic game, due to AI generated textures that were present at launch but shortly thereafter stripped out. We talked about AI in games and what we thought about it, and I mean, this is tragic because it wasn't like they excised an entire group of developers, artists, or whatever. They used it for concepts, I believe, and some backgrounds, but by and large, that wasn't the crux of the game. But yeah, cool. I think that it's neat that they're willing to see where the public wants them to be, and they're willing to move that way. I've said it before, I'll say it again. AI is a fantastic tool. I don't like whenever it removes or replaces people wholesale.
Yeah, I think that um I mean, I don't want to act like I take pleasure in them being stripped of an award of, but it is kind of slightly amusing to me given how much praise that was heaped on them. Only for them to have been using AI, and then the industry is all like, "Oh no, well, they used AI a little bit. Whatever will we do?" You know, that's how, like, for me, as we discussed last week, as long as it's not taking jobs, I don't actually have an issue with AI as a thing that's being used. So it's hard to differentiate between and draw that line between when a job is going to be taken and when it's not. But I struggle not to say just desserts for a company that won all this heaps of praise for a game that I think is not as good as the praise it's gotten. I don't want to
I, I
be
mean,
that
that's
guy, but it's
definitely an
hard not
opinion.
to.
Yeah, it's definitely an opinion based on sour grapes, but that's okay.
It is. It
Um,
is sour grapes. It is sour grapes because I like this game and I do a lot. And so seeing it uh just win things that it didn't deserve, in my opinion, is like, okay, well, I guess your game wasn't quite so perfect after all, was it?
I don't think it has to do with whether it's perfect or not. That's a completely different discussion.
You're right. It
Um,
is. I know. Again, I am having sour grapes here for sure. But in on the broader topic of things, I think that the games industry needs to recognize that there are tools out there that people are going to use, and that's just how life is going to be. There are always tools out there coming to replace things and make things easier. And yeah, sometimes, unfortunately, that's going to be an AI tool that draws some textures or does some background stuff or whatever for you. You're not working with a lot of people. You can't afford a lot of people. Sometimes you're going to end up using tools in a way that you may not necessarily want to. And then, if Claire Obscure made enough money for Sandfall that they're like, we don't need to do this again, great. That's great. If they have enough money that they feel confident that they can now hire developers and not use the AI tools, then more power to them for it. That's
yep.
the most important thing, is that they've done it when they needed to, and they didn't hide it. It wasn't hidden. They admitted that they used the tool. Like, that's transparency is always key. And now they are saying we're not going to do it anymore because we don't need it. Okay, that works for me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I mean, this is not one that I'm going to be really upset about. And if somebody wants to make a game completely with AI, I couldn't care less either. But yeah, disclose it. Let people decide if it's something they want to be involved with or not. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, congratulations to Blueprints on your indie game awards game of the year win.
Blueprints, if you haven't played it, an absolutely fantastic game. Until Claire Obscure came out, Blueprints was my favorite game of the year. It might have been unseated by Hades because I really loved Hades too, but Blueprints occupied about a month of my life that I
Wow.
loved.
That was before we started doing this, a
It
while before we
was.
started. So yeah, I didn't know you'd played that game. I've never played it.
Mm,
It's a puzzle game. I don't touch puzzle games
it's a
like that.
fantastic puzzle game. Yep.
Ugh. I
All
just
right.
want to chill. I don't want
You can
puzzles in my
chill.
brain.
I like to think.
No, I think enough.
Mm. All right, on to you for the last news story of the week.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Byron. In heartbreaking news, Vince Zampella, the creator of Call of Duty and one of the founders of Infinity Ward and Respawn Entertainment, among many other notable accomplishments, has passed away in a car accident last week. NBC Los Angeles has the write up here, so I'll just read from their article for a little bit and see what they say. Video game developer Vince Zampella, whose studios have created several of the world's best selling games, was killed Sunday afternoon. This is Sunday, the week before our recording here. So that would not be yesterday for the people listening to this. This is Sunday the 20th, or sorry, the
21st.
21st. Was killed Sunday afternoon in a Ferrari crash on Southern California's Angeles Crest Highway. NBC4 investigates has learned. Zampella, an acclaimed figure in the video game industry, is the head of Respawn Entertainment. The prolific designer is the former CEO of video game developers Infinity Ward and the studio behind the successful Call of Duty franchise. The single car crash was reported at about 12:45 p.m. on the scenic road north of Los Angeles in the San Gabriel Mountains. The southbound Ferrari veered off the road just after exiting a tunnel, hit a concrete barrier, and a passenger was ejected, the California Highway Patrol said. The driver, Zampella, was trapped in the ensuing car fire, the CHP said. He died at the scene, and the passenger died at the hospital, authorities told NBC4 investigates. Details about the passenger's identity were not immediately available. So that's about all that's worth saying here from this article. We don't know exactly what caused the crash yet. At least I haven't seen anything that says it. The studio, EA, rather, the publisher, put out a statement on the matter, but we don't really need to read what they have to say on it. Obviously, they're going to say whatever they say to, feel bad. But yeah, so major loss in the video game industry over this last week. Byron, do you have any thoughts on this one? Anything you want to say?
You feel bad for his family, prayers and thoughts to them, but that's about it.
Yeah, Vince Zampella, I'm not a big Call of Duty guy. How invested have you ever gotten in Call of Duty?
Call of Duty Modern Warfare was my first and the one that I liked the best. And I played Black Ops and I played the Future Combat one. And I probably stopped after that. They just weren't as fun as Modern Warfare was.
Yeah, so Modern Warfare was his. That was Infinity Ward. That was Vince and Infinity Ward's team and all of that. So your first one was the one that brought it into the global spotlight, really. And obviously, Respawn itself makes Apex Legends and Titanfall, and currently the Jedi games that are created by them as well. So this man obviously had an eye for talent and a major impact on many people. I saw when the news broke that there were people all over the industry mourning his loss and thoughts and prayers and all of that to his family and whatnot. So rest in peace, Vince Zampella. Truly a great figure for our industry is lost. As much as neither of us are particular Call of Duty fans or anything, you can't deny the impact that his work has had on our industry. So he will be missed and rest in peace.
All right. And I guess we'll move on to slightly happier topics in the what we're playing segment. You want to go first?
Yeah, my stuff is pretty short this week. I am still primarily in Trails in the Sky first chapter. I'm in the final chapter of first chapter. I am not planning on platinuming this game because it requires a nightmare difficulty playthrough, which sounds like it would be a nightmare to do. But I am trying to just like complete it and see all the stuff and do all the stuff. And so far, I think I have done all of that. I've been using a slight guide on the side, like after I finish all the stuff before I hit points of no return. The game is pretty good about telling you what a point of no return is going to be. So before I hit any of those points of no return, I make sure to go and check my little guide from Neo Seeker and track and make sure that I've got all the recipes and all the treasure chests and all that stuff. And so far, it looks like I'm on track to have everything. I haven't missed anything thus far. I Byron, I love this game so much.
I
It's
think
so
we know.
good. I know, but I just have to say every time I play this game, I'm like, this is amazing. Like this is what I want to do right now. Let's just play this game, play this game. It's so fun. Uh I really hope that at some point you try it because you like your JRPGs and stuff like that. I think you will enjoy this game. It's anime and over the top in some ways and ridiculous in so many ways, but it's just there's something that's so charming about this world. And so far, like you see these future potential, this future potential out there of like where can this go, and then it's particularly fun for me as someone who very much appreciates when a game has all this potential and then eventually lives up to it, where like you get to go to those places that are talked about in far off regions. uh Knowing that I'll see these places that are talked about eventually as I progress through this franchise has me so excited. My favorite example of this feeling actually, you've played The Witcher 3, right?
Nope.
Never at all? You've never played any of The Witcher
I
3?
played the intro. That's
The
all I
intro.
played. I
Okay.
have Witcher 3, but I will play it eventually. Go ahead.
So, with not a spoiler about the game or anything, but there are points in the game where you're going to hear about this town called Oxenfurt. And Oxenfurt is this renowned town in the Witcher universe. Like it's mentioned in books and it's mentioned in all the prior games and whatnot. And even in The Witcher 3, it's mentioned. And I'm like, oh, Oxenfurt sounds so cool. Like it's so far away. I'm never going to get to see that. I can't wait for them to make a game where we can go to Oxenfurt someday. And then you get a quest that tells you to go to Oxenfurt. And I'm like, wait, they put Oxenfurt in here? Oxenfurt University is in this game. I can go to Oxenfurt? And you can go to Oxenford. It's just the other end of the map. And that is the coolest feeling in the world, that this town, this place, this location that has built up so much lore and so much mystery around it, that you can then suddenly, without knowing you're going to be able to do, just go there. You just end up there. And that feeling sticks with me, 10 years on since I played The Witcher 3. Does that make sense?
I guess I don't look at the same things the same way as you, so I might think, hey, that's cool, but that it'll probably be a passing feeling to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, this really stuck with me because it would be like it's like in Mass Effect, how there's always Earth and talk about Earth and everything, and you really never get to see Earth until the third game. But you're like, I want to see what Earth is like. What could Earth be like in this far future with all this technology? And
So
then boom, you go there.
that's more fair, and that's more something that I'm interested in. And I can say that in Starfield, when I went to Earth, that was a really cool thing because you were curious what has happened to Earth and why aren't we on Earth anymore? I mean, we all know because we ruined Earth, like we're probably going to anyway. But yeah,
I
I
really don't
like
know. I don't
that
know if
one.
that was. I haven't played enough Starfield to know if that's the answer. So
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the reason why we don't live on Earth anymore. Earth
fair
is
enough.
toxic.
Oh, okay. But
Go
yeah, so
figure.
like, but that's the point, is like when it's that sort of thing, like this big mystery location that you hear about and you hear about, and then finally, boom, you get to go there. And so I am playing this Trails game, and I'm traveling around the kingdom of Liberal, which I told you was the name of the kingdom before, Liberl, Liberal. And there's the Calvard Republic and the Erebonian Empire, and they're bordering nations of us. And I'm like, that would be really cool. And we're meeting people from these places, and the you get to the borders because you actually are part of the game itself. Is the theme is walking around the entire kingdom of Liberal as bracers, so that you get to know the land that you're protecting. The part of that is going to the gates, like the border gates of both of these other nations. And so I've seen the borders of these other nations, and I'm like, cool, I want to go there. Oh, sorry, you can't go here right now, but I know at some point in time in these franchises, I'm going to see these other kingdoms. And I love that concept. And knowing that I get to do that makes me really excited. So,
I, I'm glad that you're still enjoying it. There'll have to be a big lull in games for me to get back to Trails.
killing me, man. You're killing me.
Sorry.
Uh, that's all right. So that's my talk on Trails. It's great. I'm loving it. I'm coming down the home stretch. I'm gonna have it finished before the end of the year, absolutely 100%, because I have to start Pirate Yakuza before the year ends. So I don't want to start Pirate Yakuza before I finish this game, if at all possible. So I will have this finished soon. Then the last thing I have been playing a bit of, and I bring it up mostly because I finished the main story, is more of Where Winds Meet. I have been checking this game out. I do play it a little bit every day, just run around and explore because it's so fun to just see the jank. And it really is, Byron, it is so janky still. Now that I finished the main story, I'm gonna finally write my piece on it. I just finished it like a day or two ago. So I'm gonna write some thoughts on it, and you can check those out on Season Gaming when I'm done. But I finally finished the main story. I wish I really wish, my friend, that I had a better concept of what was happening in this game. Because it seems like it's really cool, but also I don't know what's happening in this game.
You
I
make a
know that
strong argument for playing it.
I'm not telling people to play it. I'm not saying people should play it. I want to make that very clear.
I'm telling people don't play it.
It is free to play. Feel free to check it out. It's just fun to run around. If you like having a big world to run around and explore with like really pretty fun combat. Um, I know that my character has an aunt named Aunt Han, who is also known as the Water Lady, and she's called that because she can change her face. And then I know that I had to look for someone named the Ember of East, and I found her, and that's about it. I don't. I also fought the god of avarice somehow. Um, he became a man made of coins at one point in time. Um, I don't know. It's
If it's
fun.
not gonna if it's not gonna be a tight gameplay that's fun, at least have a good story. If it's not gonna have a good story, have fun gameplay.
It's got the
It's
fun
not gonna
gameplay. That's the point. It's got the fun gameplay. It
you can
does.
chop down bamboo. I know.
You can chop down bamboo and trees. Like you can chop down a lot of stuff. It's a very interactive world. None of it has like a real physics look to it, but you can interact with things in a much more deep fashion than you would expect. So I only bring it up now because I finished that main story. I did finally, tough it out and get through more than just running around the world. But it was so much fun to run around the world. I'm still level cap. Like I'm every time they raise the level cap, I'm doing the challenges and completing it to like raise my level cap. And we'll see how much longer I play with the main story done. I may put it down and come back for like updates or something. But at the moment, it's just a fun little thing to play for. Sometimes I play it for like 10 minutes. Sometimes I play it for like an hour and a half or 2 hours. It just depends on what I'm doing that day and what time it is. And that's it. That's what I've been playing. So Byron, over to you.
Yeah, I have not touched Near in the past week just because it's been a busy weekend. I have sworn that I will play it and stream it whenever I'm playing it or at least record it, and I have not had the time to do that because of the holidays. I may or may not have time this week. Again, we're going to be between Christmas and New Year's, and I may be at the beach next week, so I may not have time to do that. But I have been playing Ball Pit more, and I love Ball Pit. I don't know. The story doesn't matter. It is what it is if it even exists. But the gameplay is so much fun. I'm near the end. I think I have unlocked. Yeah, I've unlocked the last stage. I think I have 2 buildings left to unlock. I assume that I have all the characters. I'm not sure. I'm going to be achievement hunting on it, I believe, because it's so much fun to get the evolutions in the weapons. It's fun to play with most of the characters. I unlocked 2 special characters this last week, and not special as in they're hard to get. Special as in how they change the game. One of the characters is called the Tactician, and he makes the game turn-based. So instead of it being live action, you're constantly shooting balls and moving and dodging. With him, you aim, you shoot the balls do their thing, but the game is stopped while they're doing that. And then the enemies take their turn and shoot at you. And then it's your turn again to shoot more balls. And I'm not sure I love it, but it's at least interesting. And the other one, is it the Masochist? I can't remember which character it is, but he plays the game by himself. So you have to sit there and watch the game. We don't have to. I mean, I'm gonna play through all the levels as him because there's bonuses you get for completing the levels with each character.
Yeah, you need each character to complete the game to get the platinum too, or the
I'm sure
100%.
you do. Yeah, but there's little buildings you build for each of the levels, and you get bonuses to stats based on the number of characters who complete it. But yeah, I'm sure that you need to complete all the levels, all the characters, and I'll probably just set it, walk away, come back 15 minutes later, and go, "Good game, dude." Friend of the show, MG, said, "Oh yeah, he's actually pretty good." And I said, "It's not a question of whether he's good or not. It's a question of whether I want to sit there and watch the computer play the game by itself," which I probably don't. But the good thing is I unlocked the ability to take 2 characters at once. And so you combine their abilities. And for the ones that I don't enjoy as much, I can just strap them to him, let it play, go do something else, maybe even minimize and, I don't know, surf the internet or watch a YouTube video or something like that. come back and let the boring stuff be done. But yeah, Ball Pit. I think I got it for $11. At $11, it is a steal. It is well worth your time if you enjoy any kinds of games like that. It's a dopamine hit. It's a lot of fun doing the weapon evolutions, weapon combinations. That's been my game. When I have a few minutes, I sit down and I play a level or two of Ball Pit. Highly recommended. Again, story, I don't know. I don't care. Gameplay, top notch. Lots of fun. The other game that I've put more time in because I'm making a concerted effort to work through it, and I'll say I am still working through it. It's not been
Ooh.
fun yet. Has been Divinity Original Sin Enhanced Edition, mainly
Oh
because
no.
I want to play the new Divinity game whenever it comes out because I
I
enjoyed
understand.
Baldur's Gate 3 so much. And I think the biggest problem I have with the game so far, well, there's two of them. One is the movement speed is still so slow. And I'm going to have to invest a little more time looking for the mod that increases movement speed because it is a slog walking
That's what you
through
said last
town.
week. You didn't look.
I haven't looked yet, and it's been a busy week. I
Mm.
haven't thought about it until I boot the game up, and then I'm in the game playing, and I don't take the time out. So yeah, maybe this afternoon I'll go look for that. But the other one is there's not a real good quest log. It's more like a condensed chat log
Mm.
that goes into the quest areas. So if I want to see what the next step for a quest is, I have to go look through this log and just start, scrolling and reading through to see, oh, well, this is the next thing. Oh, I should talk to the mayor. The mayor's name is listed on here. But it's been difficult. I I saw outside of town I had a quest marker and I thought, oh well, I will just go and to this place and I will do whatever quest is there. And my characters are level 2, level 3 maybe, depending on which character it is. And on the way I started seeing heaps of undead creatures that were like level 5, level 6,
Oh.
and I was able to beat them, but not without reloading and learning how to use the environment to my advantage. It was tough, and I eventually figured out, you know what, maybe I shouldn't be here yet. And I went back to town and started working through quests in town. But again, like it's you can't, like, a lot of games you can lock a quest and say this is what I currently want to do, and it helps you find where the next part of the objective is, and you still have to work your way through it. But it's more guided than this. This is more, the rails don't exist,
Mm.
or the rails are very very loose. So it's been work. I keep playing it because I am enjoying the process, but it's work. So I'll continue on until it gets to be too frustrating. It hasn't gotten too frustrating yet. Um, but yeah, I'm going to continue to play it. I'm enjoying it enough that I'm going to keep going because I do have an end goal in mind. But yeah, that's Divinity for now. I'll have more to say as I get through. I'm still in the first town and
Yeah.
the area outside of the first town, but I've put a few hours into it now. That Yeah, I'll continue on. And the other game that I haven't played much more, I did play a little bit after we recorded last week, is Absalom. I like Absalom a lot. I have not played because I'm waiting to play with the friend MG who got it for me for Christmas. I do that sometimes because I have a nasty habit of blowing by people, and I don't want that to happen. I would like to be able to experience it with him. And yeah, it's if you ever play the old Dungeons and Dragons arcade game Shadows over Mistra, which I may have mentioned last week, I can't remember. It's very similar to that. It's a side scrolling beat 'em up. Think like a Final Fight, Turtles in Time, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's story based and it's roguelike. So you unlock the story as you go on. It's branching pathways. You can make choices as to where you go. You can upgrade your character. You can get new spells and new weapons. So it's not just a straight beat 'em up. That's just the skeleton of it. It's it's more than that. If you don't like roguelikes, but it's not strictly a roguelike. You're not dying constantly, but whenever you do die, you come back to the beginning, and your next
Mm.
run, hopefully, you'll be a little better at it. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to more Absalom.
I wanted to add one thing on Trails while you were talking about the slow movement of Divinity. There is a high speed mode in Trails because they recognize that it can be a slog a lot of the time to move around. And like this high speed mode makes everything move faster, except thankfully the dialogue. Like they're not speaking faster. The voices are the same speed. So you can just leave the dialogue on or the high speed mode on the whole time. And the only thing that changes is like the speed of the action. So I was watching one scene where people were clapping, and they looked like they were clapping. And then in high speed mode, they're clapping really fast. And it's funny, and they have like you can adjust it. It's like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. This is like a couple of options for how fast things move. But I think I'm at 60 hours. I can't remember if I'm at 50 or 60 hours in Trails right now, but that's with most of the game, with playing the game pretty much exclusively on high speed mode. So I'm trying to imagine like how long it would take if I wasn't on high speed, because it applies to the combat too. So when you attack things or when you're in your turn-based combat, you take as long as you want to make your decisions, but the actions when you do them, they're like, it's not just like wah, it's like wah. It's like really fast movements, and your abilities and the cutscenes for the specials go really quick too. It's a very useful feature that sounds like Divinity could have benefited
Well,
from something like that.
yeah, and well, Baldur's Gate 3, I didn't have the same feeling, so they figured it out eventually. And in Larian's credit, they do make the game easily moddable. So I think I
Yeah.
mentioned that I downloaded a mod that makes rare items stand out better.
Yeah.
And there was something else I grabbed. I try not to get anything that cheeses the gameplay
Hmm.
too much, but I'll try to find some time to get the walking speed one. Hopefully the new Divinity will not have the same issue.
Yeah, walking speed. I don't like when games do things that make it take longer than it otherwise needs to. Like if it's a long story, okay, you're telling a long story, a long cutscene, but like give me options to skip things, give me options to move faster, have a base walking speed, give me a good sprint, something along those lines. And I will say Trails, even though there is a high speed mode, there is also just like a run. And so you can run like normal, or you can have high speed on and walk, or you can have high speed on and sprint. And you go from like one end of a map to the other like that. It's really
Hmm.
cool. It's effective for what its purpose is. So yeah. Oh, that sounds like fun. It sounds like you're enjoying most of your games, at least to some extent. I'm sure you'll have some time to play near in the near future. And get through
Yeah.
that.
Yep. And just because I'm thinking about it, so my kid did give me a Steam gift card for Christmas, and I'm
Oh.
thinking really strongly about picking up Dragon Quest HD 2D 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
it is a remake. You all know how I feel about remakes. This one is, I mean, Dragon Quest 1 is 35 years old now, so it's not like they had something from 5 years ago. But I think I'm more interested in
Trails is
DQ2.
20. So
DQ2 I've never played, and DQ1 I haven't played since I played it on the NES, and I'd like to go back. There was a I don't actually I do know why. I think the Dragon Quest games were super expensive after Dragon Quest One because they had high storage capacity
mm-hmm.
cartridges, and so they were probably like $70 cartridges, I guess. And that's probably why me at 13 years old didn't buy them. And then there was a big gap where they did not release them in America until
Mm-hmm.
7 or 8, and then they released a whole bunch of them. And by then I had passed over and really didn't want to go back to the 2D games. So this is an opportunity to play those, and if I like it, maybe I'll play 3. I haven't bought it yet. I did check to make sure that that it was going to be a long enough game that I felt like investing $45, whatever it is on Steam on sale right now. And yeah, both the games are 30 to 45 hour games, so they have value to them.
From everything I've heard, the second game, Dragon Quest II's remake here, is the best out of all three of them. That seems to be the general consensus. That one is the weakest of all of them because it's the first game. There's no party members, etc. All those things. And three is good, but it's got some problems about the design choices, and it's like extra grindy in certain ways. But from what
Hmm.
I've heard, two is the strongest option. So I've heard people say that actually playing 3-1-2 is not the worst idea. Uh, and I've heard people say that playing 1, 2, and then 3 is also fine because 3 is not so bad. But if you're going to play 1, you want to get 1 out of the way before 2 is the point.
Yeah, I mean, I remember 1. I had multiple copies of it because I had it, and then I had a free copy from Nintendo Power. They
Mm-hmm.
gave away the game free when you had a subscription, and I really enjoyed 1, but 1 is very much a relic in time.
Yeah, I have only ever played Dragon Quest 11. I'm very excited for the Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined coming out in 2 months though, or a little over a month.
8 was the first 3D one, or was that 7?
I think it's 8.
8, yeah, 8 was the first of the modern DQs I played, and 8 was very good. 8 was yeah. I recommend playing 8. I think it still holds up. It's cell shaded, so it looks good.
Yeah, I think that the 3DS version is considered the best version of 8 right now compared to the PS2 version, but it's still, I think it has random battles and whatnot,
It does.
which is definitely a no-go for me in this day and age. I don't have the patience for random battles, unless it's unless it's a Pokemon game and I'm specifically trying to do it, which even that would drive me crazy. So I am sure they're going to remake 8 at some point in time. It is the most popular in the West, just like 7 is the most popular in the East. So I'm sure the remake will come someday.
Yeah, I
I
don't
just
see
have to
8 on
wait.
Steam, so it needs
No,
to be
it's
completely remade.
yeah, it's not. It's literally 3DS or PS2, I believe, is all that it is. It's not available anywhere else.
iOS. I have the iOS copy of it.
Is it on iOS too? It's on mobile? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I tried to play it because I loved 8, and I just have a lot of problems with touchscreen controls. And I guess these days you can pair a controller up to your iPad and play it like
Yeah, you
that.
can get like a backbone, yeah.
At the time, though, it was very much this and sliding your finger across, and I never was good at that.
Yeah, it's not fun. I've definitely done that more than my fair share of times to play Genshin on my phone when I'm in certain circumstances that require it, but
It's
it's not
not fun.
not fun. It's not. I
No.
don't know why people would want to play that way. But the backbone controller or the I think I mean the Portal, any of these mobile handheld things that you can use to on the go are useful. How
But
the
yeah, like
Portal obviously wouldn't work for it, but yeah.
these days, you just pair up a Xbox or PlayStation controller. I've got
Yep.
enough of those sitting around that I actually have a spare PlayStation controller. I bought it for my computer. Found out that so many more games are happier with an Xbox controller than a PlayStation controller that I then bought an Xbox controller, and that's what I primarily. They're honestly they're close enough in quality these days that I don't. I think the PlayStation controller is slightly better, but it's not enough that I feel strongly that way. Previous generations, I had a strong favorite depending on what year it was.
I played the entirety of the first party Xbox game Avowed with a PlayStation controller.
Well, honestly, like this is the first time probably in a while that I've enjoyed the PlayStation controller more than an Xbox controller because in the past few generations, the PlayStation controller has been too light. I didn't like how it felt in my
Mm.
hand. And I probably enjoy the offset joysticks better than I do the symmetrical controller. But whatever reason, the PS5 PlayStation controller is my
The Dual
favorite. But again,
Sense.
yeah, it's not enough that I care which one I use. The Xbox controller is still fantastic.
I just don't have any Xbox controllers anywhere. I think I have like one 360 controller lying around, but I don't bother. So for me, I just plug in. It was I have to say it was quite the hassle to get it to function on my computer to play Avowed because when I played Avowed, I got the review code from Microsoft and came through the Microsoft Store instead of Steam. So I had to download this program. I can't remember the name of it. It's like DS4 or something. It's DS4
Yep.
Windows or something, right? I had to download that program and spoof the computer into thinking that I was playing on an Xbox controller to allow the Microsoft Store to let me use my PlayStation controller, which would not have been
Ultimate,
an issue on Steam.
no. Ultimately, the problem for me is if a game supports PlayStation controller mappings, like on-screen buttons and whatever else, it will support Xbox. Like that is almost a certainty. If a game supports Xbox, it's about 50-50 whether it's going to support PlayStation or not. And it's a lot of work to get the PlayStation working. And sometimes I have trouble translating like I know where the X button, the B button, the A button, and the Y button are. I know where the circle, square, triangle, X are. But like if I'm using one controller and the other button shows up on the screen, like I have to process that in my head, especially
That's funny.
because PlayStation and Xbox both have an X button and they're in different places.
Yeah, I don't actually have that difficulty just because I have enough familiarity with them over the years that I just kind of know I align them correctly because controls are for the most part synonymous across gaming. Like the circle button on PlayStation usually does the same thing no matter what game you're playing. It's it so a first person RPG like Avowed plays it controls exactly the same way as the Outer Worlds does. Like they have the same button commands, so I know that square is going to be the interact button. I know that circle is going to be the back out button. And since I know that the X button is here on the Xbox controller and the Y button is here and whatnot, like that's helpful, but as long as I know the intention of my action, I probably can guess which button is the right button.
Yeah, but so many JRPGs use the right
Sure.
side button instead of the bottom button, which is I blame Nintendo. The good ones let you swap it down to the
Yeah.
bottom button.
Yeah, that's fair. I will say when you're talking about JRPGs, but Western games are easier to translate in your brain like that.
The
So yeah, I played
bottom
all of
button,
Avowed.
A or X or whatever it is, that's the action button, and that always should be the action button.
Yeah, it bothers me to no end when I'm playing Nintendo games when I need to switch over because that is hard because it is like I said it's changing the button that does the thing. It's a different thing. So yeah, I did play Avowed with my PlayStation controller. I went through all that hassle and it was fine. It was cool because I actually switched back and forth. I played on my PC monitor for a while in my chair, which was convenient because there's a quick save button. I could quick save a lot, and the quick save is not a thing on the controller. So when I'd
Mm.
go and sit on the couch, I would have my extra long USB cord to plug into the controller to be able to play, and I would have to like manually save every time I wanted to save the game. Yeah, I enjoyed Avowed and playing on the PlayStation controller. That was fun. That was a cool experience, I had to say.
Yeah, well, I think we've done enough in our what we're playing. You got
Yeah,
something for wildcard this week, right?
I do. All right, Byron, you ready for this? You excited? Are you excited? Huh?
I'm
Huh?
always
Huh?
excited.
Okay, okay. Fantasy leagues. This time of year is the annual draft for the eighth. The annual draft. This is the eighth year for the Easy Allies Fantasy Critic League. Before I talk about it, Byron, you like sports. What's your experience with any fantasy leagues, if any?
Oh, I've done fantasy football many, many times. I haven't done it in a while, mainly because the friend who used to run it moved. And honestly, I probably put more time into it than I really should have. I kind of get down into the weeds of things, but I enjoy it. I know people who do fantasy baseball, and that one always feels a little too statty for me. I don't like the idea of that, but fantasy football has always been fun. I've not done any kind of, I guess, fantasy critic league. That doesn't even make sense to me. So I guess I'm interested in hearing what that is.
Okay. Here we go. So, Fantasy Critic League is a league in which you and a group of people get together and you pretend that each of you is a publisher of of video games, right? Each person is their own publisher, and you are drafting the games that are scheduled to release, uh, expected to release, or even unannounced if you want to take that risk to release within the 12 calendar months of the year from January 1 to December 31st. And each one of you gets to go through and pick games up to a certain number of games, minimum, and then there's a maximum, of course, as well. And each game can only be selected once. And the goal is basically to, in your role as publisher, guess which games are going to review the highest on opencritic.com, which is a review aggregator that doesn't use any of the weighting that Metacritic does. It's a flat review aggregator.
Okay, that makes sense. So potentially, either Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to get somebody a lot of high scores, or maybe nothing at all.
Exactly. That's right. So the Easy Allies is my little group. So Easy Allies, for those who don't know, is a podcast creator, content creator on YouTube and Patreon. They are the remnants of the game trailers team from the late era game trailers team from like 2014, 2015, that time, when they got shut down and by Defy and everything in 2016. They went underground for a couple weeks. They came back up and they decided to start their own Patreon, the Easy Allies. I've been a patron of theirs since day one, basically, up and down different tiers, of course. I don't, but I've been a patron of theirs the whole time. And one of the things that they have been doing for 8 years, I guess, because they've been doing it for, they started it in this group is they do a fantasy league where a small group of them would get together and not bet really, but draft fantasy team scores. And so I was in the fan community. And so we started our own version of this. And I think we're the earliest one to exist. There are other ones and there are more prominent and bigger leagues out there, but we've been doing ours for 8 years now. So we don't really add new people anymore. It's just kind of us. Occasionally someone will leave. I think there's 9 of us left out of the original 14 or something that were there. But yeah, we get together once a year. And we have a Facebook group because we were founded in the Easy Allies Facebook fan group. Yeah, well, we have a Facebook group chat because we were founded in the Easy Allies Facebook fan group that existed on Facebook. So we just made a little Facebook chat for all of us together. And that's how we communicate. And once a year, we put our draft together. And then throughout the year, we chat and keep up. And the way that it works is you draft a handful of games. I think we draft 4 games each year. And then we pick one counter pick, which is us saying that actually that game is not going to do well. We're going to say you don't do well or is not coming out, and then we get points if it doesn't do well, or it's a 0, it's a flat 0 if it does nothing, if it doesn't come out. And then throughout the rest of the year, I think it's like 4 or 5 pickups is what they're called. So you draft your handful and then you have pickups throughout the year. So as new games get announced, you pick up games and add them to your roster, to your team, to your publisher, and whoever has the highest score at the end wins.
So what pick do you have this year?
All right, let me pull up my thing here. We are almost finished with our process, actually.
Oh,
So,
so it's already started. Okay.
oh yeah,
So you're not going to tell any secrets here. Good.
no, there's no secrets. We're
Because I
we're
was going to
almost
ask
done.
you.
No, we're almost done with it. I think there's a couple more people that need to counter pick still.
Have
But
you ever won by picking all the Yakuza games every year?
no, I have never won by picking all the Yakuza games every year, unfortunately. I've never won at all, actually. I've come close a couple times, but I've never won at all.
Are
Uh,
you the kind who picks with your heart or with your head?
I try to pick with my head. This year I got really close. I got third place this year. And I was only off by 11 points or 12 points from winning. It was a close round this year. It was a close one. I don't know if you can see. Yeah.
Yeah, you're off to the right. So move it over towards your head a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, you can see the points
So
there.
what was your big game this year?
My biggest game this year was Blueprints, actually.
Oh, that that was a good pick. I don't think anybody had that on their radar.
I picked it up because of one of the Easy Allies people. Isla had mentioned it and was like, "This is going to be big. I'm telling you, people, this is going to be big." And I was like, "All right." And I actually, it was my first pickup. I did not draft it. It was a pickup. So it was way at the bottom. It was like my fifth out of, and 2 of my drafts here. You can see my full list. So this is my whole list this year.
Not focused. Stop. There you go. KCDC, Like a Dragon, Mario, unannounced Mario platformer 0. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
Fable 0.
yeah, yeah. So those 2 bit me. If I'd had those come out, I would have won easily this year.
Indiana Jones only got a 72. That's interesting.
That was the DLC for it.
Oh, okay.
So you see where it says FLX there next to Indiana Jones?
Yes, okay. Barely. It's blurry.
Yeah, sorry. So that is the flex pick, which means you can put anything you want in that slot. That can be a DLC or an expansion or a re-release of a game that otherwise would not be eligible for it. Because there are categories. So like a remaster, you can't pick a remaster. Our league is set up so you can't pick the annual things like the Maddens and the FIFAs and the Call of Duties. Um, and this one, the flex pick lets you pick things. So this year I picked Indiana Jones because everyone loved that base game so much. I was like, oh, the DLC is going to do great. Got 2 points, Um,
So
yes.
what's your big one for next year?
Yeah. So for the next year, let me pull that up. Let me pull it up here.
Might be better to read it off instead of trying to get it
I will. I'm
focused
going
on
to
your
read it off. I
screen.
just have to find it. I just had to pull it up there. Okay. Uh, so my big game for this year, I don't have a single big game, but I took some risks. I took some risks this year. My first game that I picked was actually the Dusk Bloods, which is From Software's Nintendo exclusives game.
It is yeah. I know of that game, and that would be one of the games that I would want to get on Switch too.
Yeah, so that's a bit of a risky pick, I think, because Night Rain did okay. It got like an 80, but I'm hoping that this is Miyazaki directing this game, so I'm hoping that it gets the normal FromSoft love.
Well, yeah, I mean, Night Rain is not a Souls game, and that game is Bloodborne 2. It looks like so. I think
Yeah,
it'll
but
do just fine.
multiplayer, there's like a multiplayer element to it is the thing.
Like a traditional Souls multiplayer, or like
No,
a
like
Dust.
I think it's a PvP or PvPvE game or something. I forget.
Huh.
So that's my first pick. And then I picked Forza Horizon 6 because that's supposed to come out this year. And the Forza Horizon games, the last two have 90s on Metacritic and OpenCritic or higher. And then my next gamble is, assuming it comes out, The Blood of Dawn Walker.
Not heard of it.
The Blood of Dawn Walker it looks amazing, is from former Witcher 3 developers who went and made a Witcher 3 game. I don't really know how. So, the Blood of Dawn Walker, the basic setup of this game is vampires one day decided that they were going to reveal themselves, and they took over this small Eastern European countryside town, and they turned all normal, like traditional Christian religion things into vampire versions of them. So like there's blood baptisms and like blood confessions and
So it's a combination of 30 Days of Night and Midnight Mass.
sure, I don't know either of those
Ah,
things.
30 Days of Nights, vampires invade a town in Alaska whenever they go nighttime 24 hours a day for 30 days. One of the ones that's north of, I guess, the Arctic Circle. So
Uh-huh.
during the winter solstice, it never gets to be daylight. And of
Yeah.
course, then they don't have to worry about not being able to go out during the day. And um, Midnight Mass, it's a Flaniverse show on Netflix. So the horror ones like Fall of the House of Usher and so forth. And a priest in a seaside town ends up getting possessed by a vampire, brings the vampire back to town, and essentially turns it into the religion and starts making people into
Cool.
vampires. It's very good.
uh I'd never seen any of those, but I have to say I heard of the name of the Fall of the House of Usher, and I thought that was a really cool title of a thing. I think I like that
Was
title a
it?
lot.
It wasn't Fall of the House of Usher. Crap! It was no. That the Fall of the House of Usher was the second one. The first one was The Haunting of Hill House, which
That's
is,
not as cool of a name.
I mean, it's a famous story,
I know.
and
It's not as cool of a name.
no, but the show is so amazing, and it really has one of those mouth fall open reveals whenever they show it to you, and you're like, oh my god, the entire time. I like horror movies. I like haunted house movies and TV shows, and
Hmm.
both of those are. No, Fall of the House of Usher. That was the third one. The second one I can't remember. The guy who did it, Flanagan was the guy's name. I can't remember. He's now with Amazon. They paid a lot of money. He ended up doing 4 or 5 series of single season horror TV shows on Netflix, and they're all very good. The last one he did, we're getting so far off topic now. The
That's
last
okay.
one he did was about a hospital, or like a essentially a place for terminally ill children to live out their last days before they died. Um, and he ended up having multiple seasons planned for it. It was the first one that was planned for multiple seasons, and then Amazon threw gold bars at him, and he left at the end of the first season. But in his credit, and other producers, writers, etc., you need to do the same thing. He tied up all the loose ends in a post online and said, here's all the things that you would have seen if we would have continued the series, and this is where it was going to go, and here's the things that you probably missed whenever you watched it because we never pulled those threads.
All right, just so we have it for the record to be clear, Mike Flanagan created The Haunting of Hill House in 2018, followed by The Haunting of Bly Manor in 2020,
Yep.
followed by Midnight Mass in 2021, followed by The Midnight Club in 2022,
Midnight
followed
Club
by
is
The
what?
Fall. followed by The Fall of the House of Usher in 2023, and then upcoming is Carrie in 2020 something, presumably.
Yeah, all those series are absolutely fantastic.
He also has a bunch of feature films. He's the director behind Clayface, the upcoming Clayface. Or sorry, no,
Like
he's the screenwriter for
Batman
Clayface.
Clayface?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So,
Interesting. Yeah, if you like horror stuff, those are all fantastic. I believe they're all on Netflix.
well, you need to check out the basic trailers of The Blood of Dawnwalker. The basic of the plot for you is you play a Dawnwalker, which is someone who by day is a human and by night is a vampire.
Hmm.
And it's designed so that you can do any mission you want at any time, and how you approach each mission is different depending on the time of day that you do it. And there is a very important day night cycle. Essentially, your family has been kidnapped, and you have 30 days to rescue them from the vampire lord who took your family. And apparently, you could go in there the very first day and try and take them out and just be done with it, or you can build up strength and do other things. And they claim there's no main quest. They
Hmm.
claim that everything has the same depth and breadth as a main quest would that you do in this game.
So
And
I'll look it up. One of the things that I hate in games is a strict timer. Like if you're playing a football game, that's not the same thing.
it's
But like
not a
I
strict timer.
okay, because I never finished Majora's Mask because I was like, screw you, I don't want to be on a timer.
It's not a strict timer. It's a timer based on you doing things.
Gotcha.
So I think you have like you have 8 segments of time per day per daytime and 8 segments per nighttime. It looks like, and you'll like do a thing and it'll say this will take up 1 segment of time, and then but otherwise, if you're not choosing to progress time, time is not progressing on you. You have to take the
Cool.
action. It's very much like that metaphor, or persona progressing time, by doing a thing, except you have 8 slots per day, per half a day, I guess it looks like, from what I could see on the trailers. But they have a couple of like 20-minute long deep dives into gameplay if you're really curious about it. But it
I will
looks
not watch 20-minute deep dives into gameplay. I may watch the trailer and read reviews when it comes out.
you don't need to watch the 20-minute deep dive. I would say that you would probably like put one of those on and watch it for like 5 minutes just to see the basics of what the game looks like and how it runs. But it looks very Witcher like because it's made by Witcher people, and it looks phenomenal. I think this game could be big. I think it could be really big. And then my last one, because we got so sidetracked with Blood of Dawnwalker, I have a very vampire themed list this year, which was unintentional, but I picked a game that you are going to be excited for: Vampire Crawlers.
Is it the new Vampire Survivor?
Yeah, that's their
Uh,
follow-up game.
yeah, I love that game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I have no interest in this game whatsoever, but it's supposed to come out this year. It's scheduled for release this year, which makes sense. Vampire Survivors is from a few years ago now. And this
Yeah, but
game,
they have done regular DLC releases for it. They've kept it fresh.
yeah,
I'm
but
behind on that. But yeah, I would love a new version of that.
yeah, so this is the Vampire Crawlers. This is now a turn-based RPG or something. Like it's totally different. You haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, it's not the same thing. It's like a turn-based RPG.
Interesting.
Yeah, hold on. I'll pull it up really quick and see how it's described. It's totally different from what the other one was. Vampire Crawlers. Uh it says vampire the Steam description says Vampire Crawlers, the turbo wild card from Vampire Survivors. Uh it turns the snowballing thrill of Vampire Survivors into a turbo turn-based card-driven blobber with roguelite elements.
It looks like Ultima or old Wizardry. That's what it looks
Yeah.
like. They did some heavy reuse of sprites, obviously, and it looks like it's very much in the same theme as Vampire Survivors. That's interesting. It's card based.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's a turn-based card-based deck builder roguelite, which I know a few people who love all of those words, and I hate most of them, but I think it's going to review very, very well. So hopefully it comes out this year.
Release date to be announced.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's out this year. It is a counterpick. Someone counterpicked it, which means I can't drop it if they announce it's not going to be released. That locks it in place, which is what screwed me on those other 2 games from this year, as you probably saw. And then my counterpick for this year, because they require 2 counterpicks. You have to pick one counterpick at the start of the year, and then your second counterpick can be anytime in the year. I picked Slay the Spire 2. Are you
Slay the
familiar
Spire
with?
one. Yeah, I'm not familiar with two. I'm very familiar with one.
Yeah, so I picked Slay the Spire 2 because it's only scheduled for early access this year, and scores for games that are in early access do not count for our league. So it has to be a fully released game. So if people score it, they can score it whatever they want. It's not going to do anything. It's not going to count until it comes into full release, which is most likely not this year.
So
And which is funny because I picked Slay the Spire 2 last year as my first counter pick.
so did anybody waste their first round pick on GTA 6?
Yes, the very first person, the very first pick of the first draft, this was GTA 6, yeah.
That is feast or famine, because I will not believe that it comes out in 2026 until it comes out in 2026.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that one of the stronger picks is the team a couple above me who has 007 First Light, Trails in the Sky Second Chapter, Dragon Quest 7 Reimagined, and There Are No Ghosts at the Grand. I
Hmm.
think that's a pretty strong team there. Um, yeah, I'm pretty happy with where I ended up with this so far. We'll see. I've come very close. Like I said, I got third place. I think that might have been my best finish. Last year was so good, and then I just got bit because they released a freaking Donkey Kong game instead of a Mario game. If they just released a Mario game, I would have won. Literally, a Mario game would have saved me. And Xbox has always, every time I bet on Xbox is in a high level pick, I get screwed. So I'm hoping Forza doesn't screw me this year, but it probably will. I wanted to pick Fable. I picked Fable last year in the fourth round, and it still screwed me.
Well, I'll say this as nicely as possible. Nintendo doesn't give a crap what you think about anything. They will do whatever they want to do,
I know.
and they will make money off of it.
I know. So yeah, this is Fantasy Critic League. It's so much fun. We kind of just get together, like I said, once a year at the end of the year. We go through our draft, and then we close out. Like that's it. It's very straightforward. We occasionally chat. We talk during showcases and things because we're obviously like bidding and picking on games. So the way that it works afterwards is you see a game that you like, and then you everyone gets $100 fake to bid, and you can bid anything you want between $1 and $100 on a game. That's your budget for the year, and if you like the look of a game, then you give it like $20, and someone likes it more, they might give it 25, and then they get the game because they bid more.
Hmm.
It's really fun. It would be something fun for us to do this year if you have any interest in it. I don't know if you would ever want to try it, but we might want more people. See if we can get some of our viewers to join us.
Yeah, we can look at it for. It seems awfully late in the time to do it, but
No, because it can start. It doesn't have to be start by January 1st. You can start at any time. The goal is to have it done before the first major release comes out. So whatever the
gotcha.
first big thing that comes out is that someone might want to pick. So in previous years, we've tried to get it done really early because there's been like a Resident Evil game or something big that first week of January or that second week. But I don't think there's anything coming out in the first couple weeks of the year this year until we get into later on.
Gotcha.
I don't think at least. So we can look into it more if you're
Yeah, we'll talk
really
about it.
serious about it. But yeah, so that's Fantasy Critic League. Any questions about anything you want to know? Anything interesting else?
Nah, I think I'm good for that right now.
Yeah, it's really fun. We've been doing it a long time. I do want to give credit first to the first people to ever do anything like this, which is actually Shane Satterfeld and his group over at Sifted and Game Face, the Game Face podcast. They've been doing a fantasy league like this with their own rules and everything for like 11 years. And then the Fantasy Critic website that we use basically like adopted that and then made their own changes and tweaks and whatnot. But the concept was, as far as I can tell, originated by their team. And he always says that he never gets credit for having created it. And it's very popular in video game circles nowadays. So give him the credit where it's due. I've never seen anyone do it before him. So thank
Nope.
you to Sifted and the Game Face team for coming up with it. It's a really fun idea.
And I expect to see some updates from you this year as your games come out or don't come out,
Oh
and
yeah, I will
how
for
they're
sure.
helping you do.
Yeah, now that we're on the show here, and by the time we started this, it was pretty much over for me. Like I think that in order for me to have had any shot of winning last year, looking at my list, the what is it called? The Anno 117 Pax Romana would have had to score like a 95 or something for me to have any chance of winning.
Yeah,
That
that ain't gonna happen.
it got an 84. It did pretty good, I have to say. And I got 13 points on Consume Me as well. Sword of the Sea gave me a solid 17. Freaking Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza only got an 11. That was my second pick. So I got bit by that one. I thought that would be better. People don't understand the beauty of the Yakuza games, Byron. They don't get it. They don't get it.
No, it's the children who are wrong.
It's always the children who are wrong.
Yep. All right. I think we've done enough with that.
Yeah, I think so too. But it was fun. Thank you for humoring my wild card topic this
Yeah,
week.
no,
I
it's cool.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And I really like doing the fantasy league stuff. So I wanted to add one thing on other fantasy leagues. I did try one time doing a fantasy premier league with my buddy Brooks, and I completely forgot that I was in the league and just kind of like left it alone and forgot about it for half the season. So I don't even know
You
how I
can't.
did.
Yeah. Probably not well.
No, probably not well. It was fine, but it's an official website, like Premier League website. It's very cumbersome. It's very, very cumbersome. I don't know what you've used when you've done fantasy leagues in the past, but the official Premier League one doesn't function very well.
Yeah, there's plenty of tools out there, at least for American football. I would assume for European football, the same thing, or
Yeah.
soccer. All right. Well, I don't think there's any new releases coming out. It's a slow time, so at least nothing of consequence. Anything from you before we move to the conclusion?
Let's just take a look really quick because I didn't actually see if there was anything. I don't believe there's anything this week. What
No.
are we in? We're at the end of December, right?
Last week
So
of December.
yeah,
People are
last
on
week of
vacation.
December. Uh,
There's
Adventure Reborn is
there's
coming to
nothing of
Switch.
consequence.
Yeah,
Nothing
that's
of
it.
consequence.
I know. I'm saying like I was just literally saying there's only one thing coming out in December still, something called Adventure Reborn, whatever that is. But I don't see uh anything else this year. And let's see anything. Let's see what are we gonna be at? What's a full week from now? We're gonna hit January 3rd is the end. Anything coming out before that? No, nothing. The only game coming out now deserves a little shout out because it's the only thing choosing to come out. Adventure Reborn on Switch.
I'm sure there's a story there somewhere, but I'm not going to find it.
Me neither.
All right, so let's get to promoting our social media. I'll go first because I'm quick. Radio Free Europe with E's instead of or threes instead of E's on the free on Blue Sky, and that's it. Joe, where can people find you?
You can find me at Joseph_law_Russa on Twitter/X. You can check out my writing on Season Gaming's website as Don Lionheart on there. Like I said earlier, I'm going to write something up about where winds meet. Maybe I'm going to aim to have it before the next podcast, at least written. I don't know if it'll be up by then. I probably wait until I get back on Sunday, back to the frozen wasteland of the North to actually start writing it, just because I don't want to do it here in this environment and not my computer, that sort of thing. But yeah, check out my previous works from there. My most recent review is Lost Soul Aside. Check that out if you're interested in it. And yeah, that's about it for me on social media and promotion. Byron, thank you so much for joining me this week. It's
Yep,
a tad shorter than
it's
normal here, it looks like.
perfectly fine. It's a perfectly fine length.
It is a perfectly acceptable length for a holiday here, but we are going to do our best, audience, to never miss a week. We always want to get our podcasts out there, record backup episodes and extras and things because we're trying to be consistent.
Yep.
Consistency is key.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Remember, whether it's your gen, my gen, or someone else's, friends can be cross generation. Happy holidays and thank you.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Take care.